Artificial intelligence is an amazing thing. I think it's incredible how it just kind of burst onto the world a few years ago, kind of like stepping into a science fiction novel. And I use it, I like it, and I find it useful. But I think it's very important to be clear about what it is and what it isn't. And I'm finding it very strange that people mistake artificial intelligence with artificial consciousness. And intelligence and consciousness are not the same things. And a large language model is in no way anything at all like what we are as human beings. And of course, there's also the other thing that, there's some very negative aspects to AI. I watched a lot about AI psychosis recently, saw footage of a woman marrying her AI, and that just speaks to a deep disembodiment and loneliness that people feel that they could equate human love with an interaction with, a computer program. And I think it gets a little bit confusing because of language itself. Language is perhaps our greatest tool. Certainly our whole human evolutionary experience changed rapidly once we got language. But and language is one thing that we'll talk about this is that, attention gets caught in loops. And one thing it gets is a lot of people are identified with their thinking. And when I think about Descartes' famous saying, I think, therefore I am, to me, that's a very sad saying. Other people would say, I love, therefore I am. I create, therefore I am. I feel, therefore I am. I'm a mother, therefore I am. To equate your existence with the fact that you can string words together is, to me, just kind of astounding. And, it's important to recall, we live so much in words and in thinking and in talking and language, that forget that language is just descriptive. I can tell you about where I live, I can tell you the name of this river, I can tell you what the temperature is today. But to reduce this whole experience of me sitting here in the sun, listening to this river, seeing the birds, I saw a deer on the shore the other day, to reduce all that experience down to a short description of words and think that the essential quality is the words that we use to describe this is just, to me, profound. It's just amazing that anybody would think that the words are the most important part of being alive, or most important part of an experience. To believe that artificial intelligence is conscious, I think really shows, does show a disembodiment, a lack of what being conscious is. I wonder if somebody who thinks that a language model could become conscious has ever held a baby in their arms. You might talk about that experience, but it has nothing to do with the words you say. Or falling in love, or standing on a beach, feeling the waves come in and erode the sand out from under you as you do it. I can tell you about that experience with words, but that only makes sense if you've also had that same experience. And even then, the words are such a small portion of what it's like to feel alive. Consciousness is a mystery, and some people are now thinking that consciousness might be an intrinsic property of energy and matter, which is an intriguing idea, and it goes a lot with what spiritual traditions have always said. And another view is that consciousness might be an emergent property of complex systems. I'm not going to really say what I think about that, or, you're a live person, you can do your thinking for yourself. But just to say that if a large language model became conscious, I'm not saying it couldn't, I don't know everything, but just imagine what kind of consciousness that would be. To be trapped within the formulation of words, to have your existence be answering people's questions on how to make muffins, to think that, to reduce my whole experience of feeling alive, of looking up at the night sky and feeling that kind of wordless wonder of just the mystery of being alive in existence in an infinite universe, to reduce all that to just the description, that something could be, just the description of that is enough. If I was only conscious of the description of that and not of that itself, what kind of life would that be? It'd be kind of a hell life. I hope that large language models aren't conscious, because I would feel very It would be such a painful existence to only know words.